Don't let your business be one of the 80% of businesses that never transitions to a new owner. You have poured your blood, your sweat, and your tears into building your business, and chances are that the majority of your wealth is tied up in this company. For most small business owners, 80% of your wealth is the business. This is why every business owner should have an active and evolving exit plan. Welcome back to Amy Exits, where we cover everything you need to know about buying and selling businesses, and today we are tackling the exit plan. Whether you are years away from hanging up your hat or you're starting to feel the retirement itch and maybe a new venture is calling to you, having an exit strategy is essential. This is the blueprint that ensures that you leave on your own terms with all of the rewards of your hard work secured. So what does a comprehensive exit plan include? From understanding your business valuation to getting your financial ducks in a row, from aligning your exit with your personal values and making that decision whether to grow, to keep, or to sell. We are going to cover it all in this video. And if you stick with me, by the end of the video, you're going to have a very clear understanding of the full process of exit planning. You'll gain insights into not just how to step away from your business, but how to accelerate the value and really make a big leap towards that next adventure with the confidence and the financial peace of mind that you are getting the most out of your business you possibly could. So whether you are just contemplating your next moves or you're curious about what it takes to plan a successful business exit, you are in the right place. Instead of having to take notes, I have created a PDF for you that you can download at the end. So I want you just to listen and start thinking through, how would this apply for me? Now that you are ready to journey through the exit planning process, let's unfold the map, so to speak, and explore each of the 3 phases. Each one is critical. They do need to be done in order. So phase 1 is the discover phase. This is where we're going to do a deep dive into where you're currently at. We're going to look at your business valuation, we're going to look at your personal goals, and we are going to look at your personal finances. When we start off, I like to do the business valuation first because it's a wake-up call for most business owners. This is where you actually get to know what your business is currently worth today. And it's usually not what you would need to sell it for, but we have to have this information so that we can start mapping out a course for being able to help you get where you want to go. The next thing that we're going to do is actually look at your life plan. What should your third act look like? So many small business owners regret retiring and selling their company. In fact, it's about 75% of business owners 2 years after the sale, they report that they profoundly regret selling their company. And it's not always about the numbers and the finance. A lot of times it's because they were like, yeah, I worked hard, now I'm going to go play golf. And then they get to the point where they have nothing of purpose and nothing is driving them, and they miss the culture of work, and they miss the people that they worked with, and they miss having that greater purpose, and they miss the identity. And so that is why it's so important that we figure out your third act. What is your true passion and purpose in life? What are you excited about? What have you been waiting to do? Maybe it's humanitarian work, maybe it's travel, maybe it's starting up a new venture or being an investor and mentoring other small business owners. There are so many things that you can do in that third act, and the sale of your business should set you up to successfully do the things that you want to do next. This is something that I recommend be a family conversation. You should talk about this with your partner. You should do some soul searching around this and spend some time really getting clarity in this area. Now let's talk about your finances. I'm not talking about yet profit and loss for the business. That's not what we're looking at. We're looking at your personal finances. This is where we need to get really clear on how much money you actually want to have when you retire. Sometimes what we do is we say, well, I'm making about this much now, so it'd be okay if I made that much when I retire, but we're not thinking about a couple of critical pieces. One is we're not thinking about all of the personal expenses that we have wrapped into our business, like our cell phones, our travel, maybe our car is under the business name, maybe your spouse is also getting a salary from the business. And when you sell the business, all of those things go back into being personal expenses. expenses. So we want to add those back in. The next thing we want to look at is, what are you trying to accomplish? Are you wanting to live the same life that you've been living? Or maybe do you want to actually have a little bit more? Maybe you want to do more travel. Maybe you want to do more humanitarian work. You want to be able to give back more, visit the grandkids more. So getting really clear on what that number should look like is going to be one of the guiding principles for everything that we build the exit plan around. Because I don't know about you, but I would personally really hate and be super annoyed if I worked hard all these years only to retire and then feel like I'm broke and I have the time to do the things I want to do, but I don't have the cash to do the things I want to do. With all of this data in hand, we can craft a prioritized action plan. This plan isn't about lofty, unreachable goals. It's about strategic, actionable steps that can drive up the value of your business when it comes time to exit. Now let's talk about phase 2. We are moving into the prepared phase. So this is where we're getting ready for that final leap to get the business valuation up. In this phase, you have two concurrent paths. One is your personal financial plan and one is your business value acceleration plan. It's time to align that strategy with your personal values, your financial goals, and the business goals. So what do you need from the sale of your business to align with your future? This is the legacy you want to leave behind. And we want to make sure that we're really creating a good plan that fits with the amount of time you have given yourself to exit. For example, somebody who wants to exit in 10 years for 2x more than they're worth today doesn't need to have quite as aggressive of a plan as somebody who wants to exit in 3 years with a 2x valuation of what they have today. And there are people who look at their numbers and they're like, actually, Amy, what I really need is like a 5 to 10x of what I'm currently worth today. All things are doable given the right strategy. So when we look at this phase of preparing for growth, I want you to be working with a financial planning team and figuring out things like your portfolio, your investments, how to minimize your tax risk so that when you do sell, you're not giving so much of that to the government. I mean, I believe in paying taxes. I just don't want to pay my taxes and everyone else's taxes. So the financial planning and the legal planning, super important. The other thing that is important to understand is how we actually increase the valuation of the company. And there's a lot of good things you can do during this phase. Things like improving your team and the depth of who can do what and making sure that when you leave, the business is ready to run without you. Super valuable. Other things you can do are document processes. Look at your customer base and make sure it's diversified. If you've got one client that's making up 40% of your business, that's going to look like a really risky business, because what if when you leave, so does that client? Not going to be attractive for a future buyer. So during this phase, we look at your attractiveness score, which is how attractive are you to a potential buyer, and we look at your readiness score, which is how ready is the business to actually run and function without you. Those things plus your sales and your industry multiplier is what's going to affect how quickly we can raise that value. And if you are needing to raise the value really fast, you can even do things like acquire other businesses to bulk up your business before you go to resell. There's a lot of options during this process. It's really helping to figure out your timeline, your path, your goals. Now, what's the right thing we can do to get you there? Preparation also means giving your business a fine tune. This is like preparing your car for the best trade-in value. We're going to address any areas that need to be cleaned up. We're going to de-risk, and we're going to really shine and polish it up so it is more attractive to those future buyers or successors. Then we get to move into phase 3, which is the decide phase. So this is where we actually look at it and we get all of the proof of all of the work that we've done. And we look at the financials, we look at the value, we look at customer success stories, we document the processes, we really track out the growth that we've had. Then we look at it and we say, now what? Do we want to sell? Do we want to grow? Do we want to maintain? What's the next thing that makes the most sense for us? This is not something that you do once or even twice. This is something that I recommend that you do regularly. The reason we want to do this regularly is because situations change. You may have been on a 10-year exit plan and then somebody really close to you gets a cancer diagnosis and it changes everything. When we make exit planning not be this one-time destination that we're trying to get to, but instead it's the overarching strategy for how we grow our business and how we look at our business and how we evaluate our progress, then this becomes a really regular process that you can do as much as every 90 days. Being able to go in and make that decision. It also, on a personal note, it allows you to be able to plug back in and recommit and reinvest to the next 90 days of growth. One of the worst things that you can do as a small business owner wanting to sell is let yourself get tired, let yourself get burnt out, and let yourself start unplugging as the company starts to go down in sales. Because now you're trying to sell something that has a downward turn and it looks like a risk. Instead, you want to be honest with yourself each quarter. Am I ready to plug back in and continue to focus on a growth plan? Do I need to replace myself and let somebody who's more motivated and more driven start stepping into that leadership role? And what is the thing that I can do that's going to make the company worth the most when it is time to sell? That's why we do this process often. Exit planning is not just about the end game. That's the thing I hope you're taking away from this. It's about building a business that thrives and grows and ultimately provides you with options. Whether you decide to sell, to pass it on, or to just keep growing it, planning your exit strategy puts you in control of the business. So there you have it, the roadmap to planning your business exit. This is a really powerful tool that prepares you not just for transition, but for the next chapter of your life. So just out of curiosity, how long before you want to exit? I would love to hear in the comments what your timeline is and also what you're excited to do when that day comes. So there you have it, the roadmap for exit planning. If you want to fast track your exit and make sure that you are on track, make sure that you like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification so you can get notified every time we release new content, because we are releasing lots of good stuff about buying and selling businesses, and this is definitely a great resource for you. And if you want that PDF download, you can go ahead. We've got the link in the comments below. This truly is a powerful tool that prepares you not just for the transaction of the sale, but for the transition into your next chapter of life. And I am so excited for you to be able to plan your legacy. Until next time, keep planning, keep building, and let's get you ready for your 8-figure exit.